We're hitting it in 3. Let's go. What is going on, everyone? Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Beyond the Hustle. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Tatterman, and joined with me, as always, Mr. Serial Entrepreneur himself, Paul Rene Jr. Applause for Paul. This is episode 15. I think it's 15, Paul. Is this episode 15?
Oh man, that's a good number. 15.
Yes,
sir. It is I, the tax guy, Paul Rene, and 15 equals 6 when you add that 1 and the 5, and 6 is one of those prime numbers that has been mentioned as one of the wonders of the earth, and it is very fitting for this episode for today, man. Daniel, how you been though, bro? How you been?
I'm good, bro. I'm amazed that we can always find something to come over here and talk about, bro. We can always find something to talk about, bro.
That's just how it always is between me and you, man. Hey, Daniel's the maestro, the glue to this. But Daniel, man, it is a special show for today. I mean, light of everything that's been going on, there's been some good things to talk about. And one of the things I wanted to talk about to America is the importance of having positive role models around you, which is going to introduce one of my special guests to the show. So special that I decided to put on my special 3-piece suit for today, for representing. Right? Yes. With the cufflinks on. You know what I mean? You got to see the cufflinks, right? Right. But no, man. I was lucky, man, to be raised around great positive role models, man. My uncle, Kes, was one of the role models that I seen was doing things the right way. Always being progressive in life, investing right in real estate, and I was lucky to be around him. And you know what? And I think I talked to you earlier, Daniel's like, I think we all have that opportunity to be raised around positive role models. It's just, do we look out for them? When we see them, do we pay attention? Yeah. Right? Do all of us pay attention? Because I'm not the only one that was exposed, in my family to these guys, my uncle and my uncle's friends who were, had that desire, motivation to be successful. But I did have that eye, right, of seeing like, I want to be like Uncle Kes. I want to be like this our special guest here today, who is one of my big homies. All right, Camille Choute. He's a serial entrepreneur. All right, got his hands dibble and dabble and everything. Very successful. I know him as a young man, and I've been able to grow up and watch him, flourish and be successful throughout all his business endeavors. Cam, please, you know him as Cam. I know him as K. Big homie. Please introduce yourself. Welcome to Beyond the Hustle, man. It's a
thank you.
Pleasure to have you on, bro.
I appreciate you inviting me. Definitely. When you told me that you were doing podcasting, I was like, man, this dude is doing it. And you asked me to come on. I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do this for you because again, we grew up together and we've gone through a lot. So I appreciate you bringing me on board.
Yeah, man, it's a blessing to have you on, Kay. I think you've introduced yourself. Daniel has introduced himself to you too as well. Hopefully, we get to learn a lot from you and pick your brain throughout these years, not only in this episode, but I know you got a lot to teach America and the people that's watching.
I'll try. I mean, you know me. Whatever knowledge I can throw out there, I'll do it. So
you know what it made me think about, Paul, when you're talking about like exposure and people being exposed to things and not always noticing it. I think that whether it's like unconsciously, subconsciously, or consciously, like we're noticing certain things, and it either points us to want to do it or run away from it. right? I heard this
Mm-hmm.
story about, and when I tell the story, you guys might have been like, "Oh yeah, I heard it before." But it was these two twin brothers, and their father was an alcoholic. And as they grew up to become adults, one became an alcoholic, the other one never drank a day in his life. And when they were brought
Right.
together and asked, both of them had the same response. I drank because my father was alcoholic. I never touched it because my father was alcoholic. So I think, we're always picking up. It's just what we choose to do with it. Because you got some people that's like, bro, I just want a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. Like, and that's all they want to do. And they're cool with that.
Yeah.
That's just something that they're cool with. Keep being cool with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind it because, more space, you know what I'm saying? But, it's whatever they choose to do. Some people, they want to do it until they feel the pressures of it. And that's something I
Yeah.
want to hear you talk about too, Cam, like the pressures of being in it. But I'm sure Paul has some questions before we get to that.
Well, yeah, but just to jump on top of what you're saying, there are people that want to do the 9 to 5 thing, want to make a salary. Kay, how did you know that was not the life for you, man? Like, how did you know you didn't want to just make a salary? You wanted to make profit. What's going on with that? When
Man,
did you first
listen,
know?
man, I I've always wanted to do my own thing. Honestly, I learned it from my mom. She did hair, um, uh, while I was growing up, and I seen that business sense in her. My dad was a 9 to 5er. Okay, he
Okay.
he worked hard and he busted his butt, but my mom was always the one that had to have her own and do her own thing. So I think I got it from my mom. Um, doing a business for myself didn't come easy. It didn't. I mean, you got to start somewhere. So
I
definitely
remember.
that 9 to 5 is definitely essential to get you to to where you got to go in order to do your own thing. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
definitely. Go ahead.
unless you have access to the funds like that, which
Yeah,
I did,
yeah.
you know.
Unless you're a trust fund baby or something like that, right? You just
Exactly,
be
exactly.
able to live on
But
the trust fund.
just to piggyback on what you're saying, a lot of people are comfortable with the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
My sister, for example, she, I've tried to talk to her, hey, open up a business because my sister's been a nurse for 20 something years, and
Yeah.
she's a miser. She saves her money, but she will not open up a business or anything like that because she's comfortable doing a 9 to 5. And I
Mhm.
can't knock her for that.
Yeah.
There's some people that don't want the stress of owning a business or the hassles of everything that comes with it. So that by all means, and I would never knock her for not wanting to be an entrepreneur, but that's not me. I have
No,
to have my own.
this isn't the platform to be knocking people for being a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
person who works in 9 to 5, right? This is
yeah.
just the platform where everybody gets together because we're entrepreneurs and we just want to say the similarities. And one of the similarities I notice about UK is you always pick up your phone or you respond like, "Look, I'm gonna call you right back if necessary if you're busy," which is very similar to majority of the successful people there. They're always, it's like great customer service. You got that great customer service thing going on. Like you try to make yourself ready, available for people, man. That's totally awesome. But I do see that hard work ethic in you as well. Can you let us know, let America know, what was one of your first business ventures that you started? Do you
Okay.
recall what
Well,
one of the first things?
and then I'd have to go. I have to go from back in the days
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
all
way
went.
back.
Okay. Um,
Let me see if it's
moving.
as way back as what I remember. That's what I wanted. I wanted to know if it was something before that.
Well, moving down here from New York, I got a restaurant job. Okay, I
Okay.
was a dishwasher, so washing dishes. I graduated from washing dishes to being a line cook. Um, the hustles and bustles of cooking and preparing food and stuff like that. I mean, at the time it brought the money in, but it was hard work, and the
Yeah.
money was never enough. It always seems like, well, I get my paycheck and it was gone, and I have to work and hustle to get that next paycheck.
Yeah.
So I went to school for auto mechanics while I was
There we go.
working.
Yeah.
Uh, oh yeah, while I was working in the restaurant. So I was doing that, and and then when I finally graduated from mechanic school, I quit the restaurant business, and I started working for Ford as a mechanic. Okay, I worked for them for a couple of years, and I'm saying to myself, man, I I did what I wanted to do. I went to school. I started working on cars because that's what I love. That was my passion.
Mm,
But
yeah.
something is wrong here. I'm doing what I say I wanted to do, but I'm still not feeling how I want to feel. I'm still working for somebody else. You
Yeah.
know. So I end up leaving Ford and just doing mechanics on the side. Okay, and as everyone knows, when you're starting off and you're not, money's not coming in like that because you're still a green, you're still wet behind the ears, so you're still trying
Yeah.
to build clientele and stuff like that. So it forced me to go back into the restaurant business because that's what I knew, So, but I was
Yeah.
still doing cars on the side. Okay, all right. Just to fast forward, worked in the restaurant business, moved up the chain, became a general manager for a restaurant, and I got to the highest platform that I needed to go in the restaurant. So, making, let me see, we were pulling in 2.5 million a year in this chain. I worked for them for 5 years, making this store money, just a hand over fist. And then I was laid off, terminated.
Oh, dang.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
reason being because they had new ownership and they bought someone in that was getting paid less than I was, and that's part of the business.
It
So
is.
Mm.
I said to myself, okay, I got the experience. I either go back in the restaurant business or I just do my own thing. I've been working on cars since I was running a restaurant, so my experience was there. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I said, well, let me open up a car lot. So, I took the funds that I accumulated working as a general manager, opened up a car lot, and then it just escalated from there. Okay. First couple of deals made me more than I made. In one deal, made me more than I made in 2 weeks of paychecks at a restaurant.
Good.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, listen, I can't go back to working for somebody else.
Yeah,
So it
man.
just escalated from there.
I
It
think a
got
lot of
But
addicted for
times,
there, right? But you skipping some
yeah,
parts though. You skipping some parts here, K though. Cause see, K was one of those guys that before the internet was popping and everything, he was a mobile mechanic. He'd come to your house and fix your cars and everything, man. That's how hard his hustle was, man. Straight up.
yeah.
If my car broke down, it was like, damn, man, I don't know what to do. I'd call K and be like, hey, K, can you help? And he'd come with all his equipment and
I mean
everything
that
and
that
just start fixing your car right there
Yeah,
on the
that
driveway.
was working. That was part of working. Doing it on the side. I mean, it was mobile. I mean, it was, and honestly, it wasn't. It wasn't. I never thought of it as mobile mechanic. Now you see mobile mechanics everywhere.
Yeah, but now
Back
it
everywhere,
is,
back
right? That's what I'm
everywhere.
back
saying. You're the pioneer.
back then, there was no such thing as mobile mechanics.
No,
So,
no.
but I was doing it. I just didn't know I was doing it. But
I
it is
think a
what it
lot of
is.
times people when they even desire to like move in entrepreneurship, or having owning your own, the sky's the limit on what your earning potential is. And that in itself can be a motivator. And it's okay to have that as a motivator because a lot of people you hear don't want that. Oh, I don't need all this money. And Paul, we talked about before. I don't need all this money. I just want enough just to get by. I don't need all that
Right.
money. It's like, all right, when you start having families and you start adding to you do need all that money. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't want people to feel like if you want to make money, and you want to make more money, don't let the fact that you want money be a deterrence. Like it's okay to want more money. You know what I'm saying? If you want to take it to the spiritual side, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. You know what I'm saying? That
Yes.
you don't want to do anybody nasty or do whatever you got to do to get it. Like, nah, you don't want to be evil in all you're getting, but like it's okay to want to make money. For me, that's a motivator for me. I want money. you know. And I personally, I like having and creating my own schedule. So that's another motivator for me. I don't work well like like I don't mind authority, but it's like you got to be here this time, you got to do this, and it's just like you just feel like you wasting away your time. You putting in all of this time, and like you said, you see your paycheck. It's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? If I'm given this much time, I want my money. I want my time to be worth more. Like, let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
And Daniel,
Absolutely.
here's one of the things I wanted to reiterate. I know one of the last episodes when I was directing this to the females, like, look, don't knock the 9 to 5 guys, man. Don't knock the guys that are out there hustling, working
Facts.
a 9 to 5, right? Because you don't know what kind of vision they have for themselves in the future. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you got to see that you got to be there and work with them through that determination. And you're a good example to it, to where you were working that 9 to 5, you were building that trade when you were young, getting your hands in the mix when you were young, and you wanted more for yourself. So don't knock that 9 to 5 guy. It's just all about what that person or individual wants for themselves in the future and how they see their future selves living. And I'm sure KU, had a good vision of how you wanted to live in the future when you were at a young age. Was because man, you had your hands in everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I mean, if I can sit here and try to remember all the things I tried to start and that it didn't work out, let me see. I had a company called Hype Girls. This was
Mm-hmm.
before, the bottle services they have in the clubs. The girls
The
come up
bottle
with the bottles.
girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started something called Hype Girls back in the days before they had the bottle girl thing. I didn't know how to launch it. I didn't know how to promote it, so it fell to the wayside. And now I see this going on in all clubs with the
Yeah.
girls and I'm like, okay. I missed something there, but that was it. I guess that wasn't my calling. Right,
No, it
right.
wasn't. No.
But uh, from opening up that car lot, it allowed me to venture and open up a lot of other stuff. So I kept in the car realm. From the car lot, I opened up a rental service. From that, I opened up a auto mechanic shop. Um, and from there, I opened up a cleaning service as well, which have nothing to do with cars, but my cleaners do detail my cars for me, but they do
Yeah.
offices as well. So it just allows me to put my hands in a lot of stuff. I'm a firm believer of multiple income. If one doesn't work out, you have others to fall back on. But you know, God is good. He allowed each one of my ventures to make me money. So right now, instead of turning wrenches, I have people that are turning wrenches for me. So
Hey, that's a
it's
flex.
and it is a blessing. But you have to. I had to be there in order to know how it's like or know how I would do it. And so, God allowed me to get that going for myself. But
You just had that
again,
hard work and tenacity, man. I guess from your father that was just instilled with you. You
yeah,
had that good
man,
example,
listen,
huh?
I'm Haitian American. My father came down
Yeah.
here from Haiti. With mopping his hands, just mopping kitchens. That's how he started.
Mhm.
From that doing that, he acquired a house. He acquired, he made his kids. All my
Yeah.
siblings are, doing their things. I'm kind of the black sheep in the family because everybody's nurses. My brother's a
Yeah.
nurse. My sister's a nurse. All my sisters a nurse. That. I could have gone to the nurses field, but that wasn't me.
Right,
That
right.
wasn't me.
I do have a question for
So
you.
here I am.
Just as you were talking about your failed businesses. I don't know if Paul was gonna go
Yeah.
here with your questioning, but I just thought about
Nah,
it.
go ahead, bro.
Like, what? So, how do you navigate having a business fail on you that way, or whatever your experience is? So, like, what if someone wants to start something, or they did start it and it's not going the way that they wanted to go? I guess it's a two-part question. When do you know to shut it down, right? Because it's not working. So that's one
Mhm.
part. And then the second part would be, how do you navigate dealing with that failure to not give up, to say, okay, this wasn't it. Let's just try something else? Like, I guess it's a two-part question.
Man, I listen. I'm the type of person. I'm always a go getter. I mean, I can't explain if I try something it doesn't work out. I keep it moving and try something else. The thing that motivated me a lot was the fact that I can make more money doing stuff on my own than working for somebody else. And then
Right.
the freedom that I had, if Paul and I would go hang out on the weekends, I can do that because I don't have to work.
Hmm.
So it's just one of those things. So if one of the business didn't work out, I again, I have my hands in a lot of things, so I would concentrate on the other business. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question,
It does.
but
It does
That,
answer the
that does
but,
question,
answer it.
but,
man.
but
And I want to.
I never let it discourage me.
Mhm.
Never let it discourage me. I mean, it's part of the business. You're going to have failures, and it's just do you want to continue working on it? All right, here's the thing. When I opened up the car lot, it took me 5 years to actually see money coming in. Now they say 2 years in the business, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it actually and the thing about me is I reinvested in my company. All right. I didn't take a paycheck for 2 years. Okay. And in 3 years, in 5 years is when I started seeing actual money coming in. But after the second year, I started reinvesting into the business, and then once you reinvest in that business, it works itself out, you know. And I had a friend of mine who started a car business as well, at the same time as I did. So the money he was making, he was splurging. So he never reinvested in his business, and so he's no longer in that business now. So I
Wow.
don't yeah, I mean, it all depends on your drive and determination on how bad you want it, pretty much.
I want to talk about a similarity, man. That that I noticed was how I started my tax business. Right, similar to the mobile mechanic. I found a niche of people who didn't want to go to the mainstream tax offices, especially because they had kids or they'd come home after hours. So I would go to them. I'd go to their house and help
Oh
them
wow.
do their taxes at their house, and that created the buzz from that person. They talked about, hey, oh, you don't have time? Call Paul. Paul will come and help you out. Plus, he'll give you the good results. So it was just that hustler mentality because, like you said, another similarity is once I started making money for myself, it became an addiction, man. And
Yes,
I just kept wanting to
absolutely.
do it. And I seen myself making money for other people and what they were making. And I was like, man, I could do this myself. I'd rather just, do it myself. And that
Yeah,
another thing that I wanted to talk about was the restaurant area, right? Because Kay's one of those guys
yeah.
I used to have to call up, be like, "Hey, man, How do I fry this fish, man? How do I do it this way and that way?" Because if you ever had a party where Kay was making some food, man, it was a party, dude. I think you're
Yeah.
gonna get some take home plates and stuff like that, man. Tell us
Yeah.
about that, man. How did you know cooking was one of your loves?
No, okay. Going back to where I told you my father came here from Haiti with mop in hand. He worked in a
Yeah.
restaurant, and it was
Okay.
actually a French restaurant. And the chef took him in and showed him, you know, how to become a chef. So my
Okay.
dad actually he started from mopping the floors to actually chefing up food. So I learned from him. I used to go in with him as it's 15, 16 years old, washing
What?
dishes, and I used to be watching him make these sauces and stuff. He used to teach me. So uh, that amped me to go into the restaurant business. But that type of trust me, a fine dining and versus a chain, totally different type of chefing. So I was more of a cook at the chain. At the fine
Mhm.
dining, a chef is a chef. So
Yeah.
there's no similarity at all. I mean, you're cooking, but you're actually cooking a recipe that's already made. when you're chefing, you're creating. It's like a masterpiece. You're putting
Right, right.
your
Like
little salt in your food and all that stuff like that. But uh, I just put my hands in it, man. I just started just making my own dishes, and I had a little I had a couple of barbecue carts that I took to the
mhm.
strip. Okay, I parked them up at the strip clubs, and I would,
What?
um, yeah, I would do my barbecue, and I used to smoke as well, and I barbecued.
Mhm.
And after the strip clubs, and after let me correct myself. It was two strip clubs and three regular hip hop clubs. And so I
Okay.
had a man in every station, running those. When you leave the club and you're drunk, you're hungry. So I
Man,
was
that's
Yep.
the
selling
best
out.
time to be eating too, right?
That's the best time to eat. So I was selling out.
Yeah.
Every single my one of my stands was selling out where there was no food left because people
Man,
were
I hate
hungry. They
that.
were
I
drunk. They
hate
were
that
hungry.
point. I hate when it's like, nah, man, we out of food, man. That's the wrong time to be hitting it. God damn.
So so again, I always had my hands in something and tried to make money, and it was bringing me money in. I mean, at the time, I think if I'm correct, each cart was bringing in anywhere between $700 to $1,000 a night, just for those
Jeez.
carts. So after paying off the guys that were running it, and then rebuying the inventory, I made a good amount of change doing
Yeah,
that.
man, that's
So
pretty decent.
Yeah.
it was decent, but it was something that wasn't allowed because the licensing wouldn't allow you to uh, have carts out there. Back then when I was doing it, didn't allow you to have because of the elements. They're talking about
I get it.
elements falling into
Mm.
the food and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, well, let's do this. I bought some tents and put them over my thing. So they would come and harass me, but they couldn't say anything because I had a tent over my grills, so they
Yeah.
couldn't say
Wow.
they couldn't give me no excuse about elements. So I was able to get a license because I started putting tents over my on my grills. So it's
Creative
little things
thinking
like
right
that.
there.
Once you have that hustle mentality, you got to try to find a way to keep that money going because that money was good at the time, and I didn't want it to stop.
I think
See,
that
that's why I don't like listening to people saying like, "Oh yeah, I got stopped doing this and I got stopped doing." You just okay,
yeah.
obstacle approach themselves, and you did a hurdle, you jumped over it. I like
No,
that,
you
man.
got
That's
to,
creative
and, and,
thinking.
and hanging out with the people I hang out with, Gene and
Yeah,
Kessler. They don't take no for an answer.
yeah,
They try something out. If it's making them money and somebody's trying to put a stop to it, they're gonna find a way around it to continue doing what they're doing.
That's
And so,
that's the art of the pivot, man. And that's something that I talk a lot about is that
yeah. He
pivot,
does.
being able to pivot. And something comes
hmm
up because at the end, like you were saying earlier, you kind of you hit it on the head. You said, I wanted to keep making this money. I wanted to be out here. So that business didn't work. We're gonna do something else because at the end of the day, the mission is still the mission: financial freedom, and we want to be able to create that own schedule. That's what we want. That's the lifestyle. You know, you want to
yes,
achieve. So okay, if this business don't allow me that, then this business is gonna allow me that. Okay, this came up. Okay, because this is the business. We're just gonna pivot. And I think that that's something that you hear Paul talks about that constant theme a lot. That's that constant theme. Stopping is never an option. Not doing it, that's
Hmm.
never an option. So either we're gonna figure it
never.
out with this business or we're gonna create another way. Because that financial
Mm.
freedom, that's what you want at the end of the day. That's pretty dope.
Got to make that money. So you mentioned the mentors, your mother and your father. Any other mentors out there that you want to give a shout out to that you think you learned from and helped you with your drive and ambition?
I mean, I learned from a lot, man. I take a little bits and pieces from everyone, honestly. My friend Gene just sent Mr. Hustler, and
Hmm.
he probably won't be mad at me saying this. He got into streets, doing his street pharmacy thing, and he quit cold turkey and started working for himself. So and
Yeah.
he started hustling. So he's been hustling ever since, not turning back or going back to that street hustle. You know, you know Kessler, which is your uncle. Uh,
Hmm.
he he's a 9 to 5er, but he's a hard working 9 to 5er.
Hard
So
worker.
he takes his money and he invests it in properties. So right now he's got multiple properties that he's eating off of, you know, because of his hustle and his drive. So people like that I look up to. Yeah, uh, Paul, you definitely you know. Your drive, your motivation. I mean, back then when you're on the courts playing basketball, I noticed the drive and the motivation of trying to make that basket. You know, that was just you.
Yeah.
And then when you were rapping, you know how you're trying to get your rapping skills. It's just I try to surround myself with people that's actually doing something. You know,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I'm not, bougie in any which way, and I don't shun anybody that's not doing it. But I learn and I grow from people who's actually doing it. So there are a few people right now that I, look up to. I have a financial advisor, Dr. James Wilkerson, who
Okay.
actually, he's my minister and he's my mentor and he's my financial advisor as well. I learn a lot from him. Uh, and how I invest my money and stuff like that. Because as a young brother, when you coming from a Haitian family, your parents don't teach you how to invest. They'll tell
No,
you
they
to go to
don't.
school, become a lawyer, become a doctor. That's all they know. They don't tell you how to invest. They don't tell you how to utilize your money. They don't tell you how to, grow a business. They just tell you to go to school, become a lawyer, become a doctor. That's all they know. So,
That's all they
you
get
know,
taught too. That's why.
so
But
I
it's
try
about
to I try to school as many people as I can. Right now, I do restaurant counseling, where I go in and I help businesses uh, uh, I help restaurants try to get the most bang for their buck. How to bring in more guests. How to get the kitchen running a certain way. Because if you're coming in and you're having to wait forever for your food, there's something not operating correctly. The menu aspect of it. Although I'm not 100% in the menu, but I'll give suggestions and stuff because I don't know if you know this. I opened up a restaurant before. That was one of my failures.
yeah, I
I
do.
opened
That's
up a
why I wanted to
restaurant.
talk about. I
The
wanted to
restaurant,
talk about that
the
too.
restaurant was
I
Yeah, I
opened up a
do.
restaurant, but it,
This man
you know,
got some skills, man.
unfortunately, it didn't work out. I mean, I had it for 2 years, but it was a joy and it was a thrill knowing that I can actually open up a full-fledged restaurant.
wow.
Hmm.
The first year, it was packed. We had about I want to say we sat about 75 people in that restaurant. It was a
Wow.
75 seater. Yeah, and
Wow.
it was
Was it
called. It
that
was
overhead that was a killer?
an overhead. That was a killer overhead. And then uh, I was in there with partners that didn't know the business.
Okay.
Okay, didn't know
Mm.
business. They had capital and they wanted to open it up, and I thought it was a good idea to open it up with them, but it just did not work out. Because they um, didn't know the business. In other words, I don't want to elaborate and go deep into it, but it's just one of those
Yeah,
things. But
yeah.
it was a lesson. It was a lesson learned. But
Do
it was the thrill of knowing that I can do it, and I did it, and I opened it up, and it worked for a little bit.
You would have
I
regretted it
won't.
if you didn't try, though. I know that. You would have
Yeah,
regretted it if you didn't
exactly,
try.
exactly. I would have regretted it, but it's not gonna stop me from. I'm gonna probably try again, but this time maybe
Yeah.
like a sport or
a
something
little
like that.
different. I,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I do
With
have
with
a
some Haitian
question.
cuisines, yo, for real, a little bit of 80s here and there and something.
I was gonna ask you this because you hear it a lot of with Haitian families, Caribbean families, period, man. Like you hear it a lot. Like the parents push for lawyer or doctor. Like that's what you hear a lot. You hear that it's just a push
Mhm.
for either lawyer or doctor or like go to school. Why is that? Like you two would be perfect to ask. Like, what is that? Is that something that the culture like looks up to the most? Are those professions just like, you know, highest
No, well,
esteem?
I can speak for my family. It wasn't that. Kay knows my dad. My dad
Yeah.
was a hustler, self-made man. Very
Yeah.
Yes.
successful in his real estate endeavors. And my dad told me to write my own checks. So I can't.
Mm.
I don't know if that was the same in your house, Kay. If your parents were promoting you to
No,
be
no.
a
My
lawyer,
parents,
doctor.
my parents were workers. I mean, they, my dad came from Port-au-Prince. Same with my
Mm,
mom. And the mentality out there. I mean, it's different. It's different. You come here, they come to America. They want to make the best life that they can for their kids, so they work. So business was far from their mind. My mom did eventually start open up a hair thing. She saw
Mm.
that part of it, but
yeah.
you know, I was never taught that. I observed, I watched
Oh,
and
okay, I
seen.
got you.
So
I got you.
That's the best
Yeah.
way to teach kids, though. Really, is through observation. They
Yeah.
don't really listen to what you say. They listen to what they see majority of the time. I know my kids put me in my place because I tell them to do something, and I might get
yeah,
off track, and then next thing you know, my kids are like, hey, you ain't do this,
Yeah.
you ain't
Yeah.
do this, ain't do that, like, and I'm like, oh, my bad. I
Yeah.
apologize. Let me get it done because they're
They sure
watching.
will.
It's not about what you say. They're watching. But let me talk about. I'm gonna get off track about the mentors. I appreciate that. I know Gene, your brother Gene. He was one of my mentors in the real estate game too. He gave me tips about flipping properties, right? Because that's one of the
yeah.
things that he got into after he progressed, and grew in life. And I didn't know anything about flipping properties until I had multiple in-depth conversations about him. And I was in real estate, my uncle Kess and everything group. I seen him buying and acquiring real estate for investments, and I wanted to do that as well. But when it came to flipping properties and some of the techniques and skills that came across it, Gene was the man on it, and I jumped on it right quick and blew up on that. But one of the things about facing obstacles, what I do see is a lot of athletes, people that grew up being athletes. They learn how to face obstacles a lot easier than those who weren't athletes because no matter what sport that you're in, you're gonna miss, right? You're gonna take that jump shot, you're gonna miss, right? But in order to make it, you got to keep shooting it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that same mindset of the rejections, the missings, the no's, those obstacles that I see in athletes, that I see them later on in life progress and become successful. So in order to be a good athlete, you got to be healthy, though, right? You got to stay in the gym. And I've always seen you healthy, man, growing up and staying in the gym. How is health contribute to your success? Okay, I know we had a conversation about that. I just wanted you to, talk to America about it, man. Let America know the similarities out there, the point of views of how health contributes to success when you're an entrepreneur.
I mean, let working out made me me. I just felt good working out. It allowed me to be more mobile, more flexible, and allow my brain to think. Uh, Freed
Yeah,
up those juices to just think. To have that stamina to do what I got to do. I've always, listen. I always try to look my best, especially if you're wearing a suit or something like that. You want to go out, you want to try to
yeah,
look your best.
exactly.
So you work out. So I'm continuously working out, and I'm always going to work out. I don't
Yeah.
work out as much as I did when I was younger, but I
Hmm.
still at least 2 or 3 times a week. I got to get
Yeah.
that little motivation. I know you mentioned earlier that you opened up. You have a little gym at your house. Actually in the
Yeah.
process of converting my garage into a gym, so I will
Hmm.
have that. Because when you go to the gym, you got to wait for machines, and a lot of
Yeah,
times
exactly.
it's raining outside or something like that. But if once you have it at home, but it, I could tell you, it's very very important, especially when you're getting older. That health is key. And like I mentioned before, all my siblings are nurses. The
Yeah.
stories that I hear um, about people my age that are not healthy, they're not eating right and stuff like that. It's sad. but they just don't know. You just don't know. But you know, definitely health is a part, because if you want to enjoy that money that you're making, you got to stay healthy, or everything you're doing is in vain.
Yeah, this
That's
guy's
what it
being
is.
modest, Daniel. I'm gonna let you know that. All right, he's being modest. He used to get paid for being healthy and looking good in the suit. All right, ladies, you might have seen him in the Sears or J.C. Penney's catalogs. All right, because he
Whatever.
used to be a model over here back in the day. I don't know if he still do it. So
He don't
stop.
want to
Don't
say
think
it.
I forget. I ain't forget about that, man. Yes.
He's like, I go
Yeah,
in
why
there.
you put
I
me
go
out
to the
like that,
gym a
man?
little bit.
Yeah.
I do a little bit. I do all right. I go in there. I touch
No, but
some
health
iron.
is very, very important, man. Like it helps you deal with the stress that comes with being an entrepreneur. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I have to develop a gym in all the homes that I've been in, whether it's a puncher bag outside or weight sets and everything, because the stress that comes with being an entrepreneur, man. And then you know how it is, man. Everyone has that same common trait being an entrepreneur. We're up early. I get up, I've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning at 4, working at around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm hitting those weights, you know what I'm saying? And because I can't get to the gym sometimes, it's just much more convenient for me to go ahead in the garage, do a couple of sets here and there. And,
Yes.
I'm good for the day and ready to take on the world. And then when the stress comes to the business, it's like, yeah, I can do these pull-ups, no worries, because no one's going to be doing the
Mm,
push-ups and pull-ups for you, and there has to be an outlet some way for
yeah.
for the stress. All right, but yeah, so let me ask you though, in light of recent things, and even in the past, has media or the social climate or culture um, motivate you, or uh, try to sway you away from being an entrepreneur?
No, no. Once you're an entrepreneur, once it's in your blood, it's in your blood. I don't think anything can sway you away from doing that. I mean, again, it's freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
be financially free, to be, you're not, I don't know about you, but I don't like people telling me what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'll take suggestions all day, you know what I'm saying? But you demanding me to do something, that doesn't work for me. It
Yeah.
really doesn't. So that's, definitely something I would always do and continue doing. Um, uh, to where you're just set, and where you're not having to do anything and just lay on the beach and let your money work for you.
Hmm.
You know, so that's pretty much it. I think that's a lot of people's end goal, pretty much. As there's some people that just want that legacy where their business has their name on it, and it's like to have like the Trump Towers or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah,
Or
but
some people want to get want their money to just keep working
Yeah.
while they're not working. So
hmm
it all depends on
so
which direction you want to do that.
okay, well, that leads me to another question, because that sounds like some positive investments. Now, it doesn't have to be assets, but if you want to name assets, that's fine. But what do you think is some of the best investments that you made in your life? Doesn't have to
Um,
be,
well,
physical assets or anything like that.
yeah, I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, the best, I'm going to throw this out there. The best investment right now is God. That was my best investment. I
Okay.
I I I, I let go, let God, and everything just fell in place from there. All right, that was my number one investment. After that, definitely was real estate. I bought a property and lived in the property for a little bit, moved out, rented that out, and got another property. And so now, continue doing that, and you get to a place where you're like, wow, this is actually something that's working out for you. Okay. Um, uh, and opening up a business. I mean, that uh, hands down, opening a business is the best investment. My opinion, the best investment to make. Okay, from there, you can branch out to whatever you want to do. The money that you got coming in, you can invest it in stocks, bonds, if you like. Um, just because the 401k is not happening. It's not working.
No way,
That's
sir. We know. We know.
so and a lot of people, they believe in that 401k, and I'm like, you know what, it's good for you, but it's not good for me. It
Mhm.
really isn't. And then we're trying to wait for this retirement to come in, and that's not it either, because it might not even be there when I'm ready to retire. Who
Right.
who knows? I just want to have a clear goal and plan to say, hey, this is where my money's coming from, and where I know I can't do it anymore. I know my investments is coming in, and it's sustaining the rest for me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, a friend of mine taught me that. Excuse me, he's a good real estate investor, and he called it the 401R. And that's the investing in real estate because it's way better than that 401k. And then you take that
Yeah,
to where multi units are paying you, and then you transfer
absolutely.
that to multi-family units, which is the goal for me in the near future is to have that 100 units, 50 units of properties. We got to get together and collab on that and get something like that. So let me ask you another question. I guess uh, how has your business endeavors, your entrepreneurship endeavors affected you and relationships, whether it be relationships with a partner, a spouse, or whatever, or relationships with friends? How have you seen it affect your relationships?
It definitely does affect relationships. I would say more so your friends, because the friends that you grew up with is not, if they're not on the same level, you have nothing to really talk about like you did back in the days.
Yeah.
You can reminisce all day, but how often can you sit there and just reminisce about something that happened back in the days when we can be talking about what's going on now? And I found that my circle got really really small,
Yeah.
and the crowd I used to hang out with,
Mhm.
and so now that crowd, I can name that crowd in one hand. So it did affect a lot of relationships, because you have to get in a point in your life where you say, I've got to keep moving. I can't allow anchors, and I hate to use that term anchors, but when someone is have their problems, and they have and they're not wanting to um, achieve a certain level, and it's just a weight bringing you down, because it, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say to
I
you
do. It's a
on that
vibration,
aspect.
man. That
Yeah.
negative
So
energy attaching to you can bring you down, man, and stop you from
yeah,
your
and
course and your
it's
direction.
hard. You don't want to be that person, but you have no choice. You don't want to be on in that same level. So the same guys that I grew up with doing the same things. I mean, how hanging on the block, going to clubs every day, and drinking and smoking, and not preparing yourself, preparing your life. I can't go back there. I can't. Trust me. I'll call them up every now and then, check on them, see how they're doing. But as far as how we used to chill or hang out, I can't. But it did affect a lot of relationship. As far as relationship as like females, um, when you're working a lot, and when I say working a lot, you're constantly on the computer, constantly on the phone. I'm talking.
Mhm.
It does take a toll. It does take a toll on your relationship, and you have to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to dedicate one day for my missus. Okay, this I'm not gonna be bothered. That my phone's gonna be off. Hey, listen, I can't talk to you. I'm with my wife. That's it. So you have to get in that position where that's what you're doing. Otherwise, you trying to reach your goal is going to stray a lot of relationships, or strain a lot of relationships.
Yeah, I've
So
experienced that
um,
myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So
especially with the late hours and waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
and
But
all
listen,
that
if
nonsense.
you're with somebody, if you're not with somebody that has the same mindset, it's going to take a toll because they're not going to understand. They're not. So you have to adjust and take some time and say, hey, this is one day. This is a day I'm gonna spend with you. This is what I'm gonna do for you, stuff like that. So,
That's what
but
you say a lot, Paul. You want to be with someone that understands that, because
Yeah,
sometimes people will be like, "Oh, you don't have to work that much," or "Why are you going so hard?" And it's just like, to you, it doesn't even feel like you're going hard because that's just what you do.
that's
Um,
what you do.
exactly.
and
Yeah.
that's something that I've learned too. Like every Paul, you're talking about people having their schedule broken down to like 5 or 10 minute increments. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
the higher level you go, man, that's
Yeah, the
how
high,
tight their
yeah.
schedule is.
And mine isn't that tight. Mine is pretty tight, and I've gotten to a point where I'm learning. Right, I won't say I know it, but I'm learning that, because you were saying, Paul, like this, you don't achieve that ultimate balance. I don't think ultimate balance is what you achieve, but like what you were saying,
Mhm.
Cam, it's just sectioning off certain times, right? It's just sectioning off days, or times that you do these certain things. But I noticed that where like I have a pretty much a nice little routine going from like Monday through Friday. Saturday, I'm still figuring out what my Saturday schedule is, but I do notice that, and I tell my friends, I tell my brothers, hey, I'm not doing this day because I'm doing this, or this is family day, or like, but you do have to get that way. And I don't think that, to your point, Cam, it's like you don't want to call people anchors, because it's like, okay, yeah, they're not holding me back because they're like dead weight. I think it's more so not headed to where you're going, right? Not the goals aren't aligned. So then
Mhm.
it does feel like, they people can become dead weight. We don't want to categorize them as that, but the goals aren't aligned. So
Yeah.
where you may say, hey, I got time to do this, or I want to go do this, it's like, well, I'm not going that way, because doing that doesn't take me, here where I want to go. So
Yeah.
it's just not the same destinations. And I had to learn that the hard way too, man. I cut off some friends. Like
Yeah.
my cuts weren't as, they were aggressive cuts because I was still learning. They were aggressive cuts.
Oh
They
man,
were
I
really.
make I make hard, quick cuts. That's what I do, bro. To the point where people get mad at me and think that I'm mad at them. But I'm not mad
Hey,
at you, bro. I just got,
Right.
hey,
I'm going this way.
there's a
I'm
You
there,
know,
going,
you,
bro.
that's
there was a
I got somewhere to
there was a
be.
time that I didn't see you for like I think it was like 5 6 years. You know what I mean?
yeah, man. I
And
mean, I'm
yeah,
back doing stuff,
I'm
bro.
asking. I'm calling Kes and say, "Yo, what's up with Paul? Man, where he been? Man, the dude don't answer his phone. What's going on?" So, was
Mm.
I one of those people you cut off, bro? Huh?
No, no, it's not like no. It's not that. It's not really like hard. It's just that a lot of guys, right? That I grew up with, they're just not into, like Daniel said, they're not into the things that I'm
Mm-hmm.
into it. And the thing is, Kay, it's like we all have our own purpose. We're not supposed to be doing the same things, right? And I'm following my
Yeah,
purpose, and my purpose isn't
absolutely.
gonna be this in line with what your purpose is. Like, do you want to swim with sharks? You want to go diving in caves and stuff like that? Now, well, I'm busy learning how to do all that. I'm not gonna sit here and my skills with the wrench isn't as good as yours, bro. I can't be doing all this. I know. I mean, hey, I could put my bike together and stuff like that, but as far as my skill set and that's just not the direction that I headed. So it's not like with malice. It's just, guys gotta,
Right.
take that time and focus on their skill set and their craft and follow their purpose. And it's like, what do you think you're following your purpose too as well? Or if so, what is your purpose?
Um, my purpose for
Just in general, like, because
elaborate.
I believe every man has to follow his purpose, right?
Mm,
My purpose, right, to
yes,
me is serving people, right? Like at
that's
the
right.
end of the day, um, I like being a problem solver to people. I like helping people reach their financial goals. I like being a big part of a person's life and create an impact in a person's life. Because there was a time in my life where I wasn't doing anything, and I was,
Yeah.
just sitting there bored, living them, just boredom and wanting to get involved in things, and to the point where I was like, you know what? Let me help people do X, Y, and Z. Let me help this person, and then it was like the world opened up to me, and as I helped more people, I was able to help, and attain the things that I wanted to acquire myself, right? So,
Yeah.
and my purpose might be different than everyone else's. So, but I believe every man should follow his purpose before family or relationships or even kids. It's like that's what, and being a man with many kids, that's what they rely on, is seeing, yo, dad is working at what he's doing. He's following his purpose,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, you think you following your purpose in relation to that? Do you think that you
But
following your purpose, and if so,
I
can you give us an
to,
explanation?
to be to be honest with you, whenever I feel that I'm following my purpose, I'm led to another direction. So I can't really tell you what my purpose is. I can tell you what I would love to do. I mean, I would definitely love to teach. I would definitely love to let people know what I've been through, what they can do to better themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody come up to me, as long as they have that motivation and the will, because there are some people you just can't teach. That's why a lot of these motivational speakers, they charge for their time, because a lot of people don't respect that time. But
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely take somebody by the hand and say, hey, you're wanting to open up a business. Okay, this is the route you have to take. This is what you need to do. Okay, this is going to be your bumps. This is going to be your bruises. But I mean, I definitely would love that.
See, but
But
I disagree
again,
with you, Kate, because I think you are following your purpose, man. I really do, because you are, you're awesome with the cooking, and now you're consulting people, right, with the restaurants, and you're teaching people
like,
how to do all that, right? And so
well,
I think you're right
hey,
there.
listen, I don't, you know what? And like I said earlier before, when my mom was doing her hair and she opened up a little business, I don't think she knew that she was actually motivating me to want to be an entrepreneur myself.
Hmm.
So I guess I'm not. If someone asks for help, I'm gonna help. That's just me.
Yeah.
Okay. If they will need advice, I'm gonna give them advice. Whether I'm motivating them to do it, I can't put a tag on it. I can just say
Yeah.
it makes me feel good doing what I'm doing. You know. So by all means, I mean, hey, if that's what you want to call it,
You are, man. You do. You there. You just
I'll
don't
say
know
what
it
it is.
or
I think
recognize
that
it. I
connection.
tell you, because you're already a consultant
But
for people, and you teaching
but
America some things right now. So
but
I can.
at the end of the day, and something my dad used to always tell me, know what you know and know what you don't know. Okay,
Mhm.
Facts.
so everything that I've learned from either watching. And let me give you an example. Um, uh, I when I was living with my parents, I turned out the garage and made it into my bedroom. Okay,
Yeah.
my dad put up the walls, and he put the light fixture, and I was helping him. We were doing it together, and it came down to the carpet. Okay, so I told my dad, hey, listen, I got a guy who's going to uh, who knows how to do carpet, and I'm gonna get him, pay him to do the carpet. And he says, why would you want to pay him when you could do it yourself? I said, Dad, I don't know how to do it myself. I've never done it before. He
Mm.
said, okay, well, answer this question. How much is it gonna cost you to get that guy to put that carpet down for you? I said, probably like $500. I said, okay. He said, okay. How much is it gonna cost you to buy that carpet? And I said, probably $150. Okay. So what happens if you mess that carpet up? I have to go buy another one. Okay, so now you're spending $300. You're still saving money and you're learning in the process.
Yeah.
Okay, so by the time you get to where that guy's charging you that $500, you've already put that carpet in, and you learned from putting that carpet in. And guess what I did? I did it myself. I did good on the first try, but what he said to me made sense. You put your
Right.
hands in it, you try it, and if you don't succeed in it, you try it again, but you'll still be saving more money than you would if you hired somebody else to do it.
That's
So
That's
true.
outstanding.
um, it was a lesson learned. You know,
Now see,
And
so
you
I've
apply that principle to other things too, then I guess, right?
absolutely.
see I've
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've
I,
done
I put my
carpeting.
hands in everything, man. I try to listen. I don't do taxes, but hey, I'll put my hands in it. I'll try to do it. but know
But
what you
speaking
know,
of
know what you
taxes, I'm
don't
gonna
know.
use that as a plug right here because I like what you said about start the best investment you did was or one of the best investments is starting a business. And with my tax company and all the clients that I do get a chance to serve, I let them know that look, you know, tax benefits are there for people who start their own businesses. Man, you get to write off a lot of expenses to reduce your tax liability and to increase your tax refund. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like getting my hands involved in things too and learning while hitting the ground running too, man. So I do understand that. That's the best way to go about it, and that's what I do see about people who want to become entrepreneurs but don't end up going is because they just don't want to do it. They don't want to fail at it, right? Is that failure, and that
Yeah,
brings me back to what I was saying about athletes. Athletes usually are the ones who generate that success because we'll take that jump shot and miss and keep missing until we make it, and that thrill of making it is what it's all about, right? So um, yeah,
I think
definitely.
I say two things. Like I'm all for trying stuff. See, Cam, I've done construction and I've done carpet and flooring. I'm straight, man. I'll pay that 500 to work on it. I ain't doing it. But I've done it before, and I realized like what your dad said: know what you know and know what you don't,
Yeah,
and that is what I don't. But to
it's
to
taking that
to
jump shot and missing, man. That's what it is.
yeah, to your
yeah,
point, Paul. With that, a lot of people want I think a lot of people want, and you said it before, Paul. A lot of people want the benefits of what it means to be an entrepreneur. They don't want to
Yeah,
take those shots. They don't want to miss. They don't want to run for their own rebound, grab it, go back, and then shoot again. And then make those adjustments. And I think in doing this and having your own, it's about how well or how quickly you can make those adjustments before shooting again. Because like even with us with this show, like we know we're gonna be here next week Tuesday, right? We plan to be here next Tuesday. There's a lot that goes into getting to next Tuesday, right? To be able
mm-hmm.
to be here and perform. It's just like having in the same adjustments and things that me and Paul talk about it. Like we'll get on the phone and talk about adjustments that we're gonna make, right? To see it grow. And with your business and what it is that you're growing, you put yourself out there. Okay, yeah, that didn't work. We got to make adjustments. I'm gonna show up tomorrow. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. Okay, what adjustments can I make to fine tune it? And so but you're constantly doing that. And I know for me, sometimes even when I was doing the talk show, like sometimes I wouldn't sleep because I'm fine tuning those adjustments. And my wife will find me. I leave work because I was working at Lockheed Martin at the time. In my work clothes, I come back home, I kiss the kids, and I go into the office, and I'm working. And then I'm in my and next thing you know, it's like 2, 3 in the morning, and I'm like, dang, I haven't showered, I haven't taken off my work clothes, anything like that. But because
Yeah,
I was focused and I was consumed by what I had to do, now I had to learn how to balance that. I don't do that no more. But like, it's all in learning in the pivot. And I think people don't want to do that part, right? Because it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into that part.
cool.
yeah, man.
You know, it's crazy. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and I think the last 10 years there are more opportunities to become a entrepreneur than anything, because you have all these platforms now. You have DoorDash, Uber Eats, you have
Mm-hmm.
Turo, you have a lot of business. If you can't start your own business from scratch, you can always go on one of those platforms and you'll still be considered entrepreneur. You're working for
Yeah,
yourself, and you'll still be making decent money than working with somebody, for somebody else. So I mean, being an entrepreneur is it's not as hard as everyone thinks it is. I mean, you can still do it, and like I said, there's a lot of platforms. I have a friend who's doing Spark, Uber Eats, Tour, doing all that stuff. And he's working for himself, making decent money. So I mean, it's a little hustle, and you got to know the system, but
Yeah.
it beats working a 9 to 5. It really does. So I mean, I don't take excuses, anymore from anybody that says they can't find a job. I ain't trying to hear that. You can't
Right.
find a job. There's a lot of stuff out there right now that you can get into to get you the way you need to go. If you can't find a job, create your own job. That's it.
That's
Correct.
true.
That's it.
That's exactly
That's
it.
true.
That's what I had to do for myself too, as well as just create my own job because I know coming out of the military, and I know and I needed to work. Every time I put in an application and go to an interview, I was overqualified, man, to get a job. So the only thing I could do was create my own job for myself, man. So I did with the private security, private investigation company, to taxes and real estate, you name it. I just keep creating jobs for myself to being a landlord or whatever the case may be. And there's more that I want to do here in the future, right? There's things that I want to take to the international level, man.
There you go.
And we'll get there. But what's some of the things that you want to do for the future? What's some of your future endeavors that you're looking forward to, Cam?
Well, right now I am currently working on trying to buy a 16 unit building or higher.
Okay.
So um, once I plug into these multiple apartments, I think I'm gonna say, okay, this is probably my retirement. So
Yeah.
I'm currently working on that right now, and hopefully in the next couple of years, it's time for me to retire. Lay on that beach. Give you a call and ask you if you want to come to DR with me. You know,
Yeah. Hell yeah, I'm
so
down for it. We'll get it be a nice Airbnb with
that,
a gate guard and everything, man,
there
and
you go.
enjoy it up.
There you
I
go.
love I love I love
Uh,
I love
Listen,
DR,
I
man.
don't
And I
I
love
don't hang out.
traveling.
I don't hang out like I did back in the days, but I hang out in a different way now.
Mhm.
The beach, the sun, and the tequila and the different countries. I love to travel. So
Dude, I be telling
um,
people, man, that's go ahead. I apologize.
being a business owner, it allows you to be able to do that stuff, where if you're working a 9 to 5, you have to wait for your year's vacation in order to take a vacation, which is fine if that's what you want. But every 4 months I gotta take
That's
one.
true.
It helps the mental. It helps the mental when you're just relaxing. As you have a group of people that you travel with. You just do your thing and travel, have a good time, and then come back home and do the hustle and bustle again, and wait for your next 4 or 3 months to go travel. So
It
it's
makes you
fun,
want to
man.
work harder too. That's what I was gonna say before cutting you off, right? It allows you to
Yeah,
decompress and just get back
absolutely,
to it. Because
absolutely.
then you get to see how the world is outside of America as well, and you become a
Oh
much
man.
more experienced man and well
Oh yeah. And then
cultured.
you mentioned international business. I actually the tourists the tourism in these countries,
Mhm.
man, there's money in there. There's money.
Yes, sir.
So uh, I'm actually in when I went to Colombia in November. I mean,
Hmm.
I hooked up with a couple of guys from New York that owns clubs in Colombia right now, and they're
Yeah,
putting me on game to owning property, because right now, and you probably guys probably see it on social media, the Colombia is the place to go visit right now. So you got a lot of
yeah.
people going to Colombia. So that means a lot of tourism. I mean, they need a place to stay. So definitely, you buy a place, rent it out, and get your money out of it.
And
And you'll have
the
a
property value
you
out there is outstanding too, man. It's very good. Good
oh,
property
you
value,
mean
man.
outstanding? I mean high, or what do you mean
Well, for
outstanding?
single family units, I mean, good. It's really good. It's you can get
Oh,
a
oh yeah,
good
yeah, yeah,
two bedroom, one bath apartment for like $35,000 out there, man. It's not bad at all.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Jeez.
You can't beat that. If you want to be in one of these yeah, high tourist areas, it's going to be a little bit more than that, but it's still a lot cheaper than buying something out here, you know.
Yeah,
But again, that's international business, man. So you
most
and I are on the
definitely.
same page.
That's the step. Yeah, that's the
We
next step. We
didn't
probably got to get into something together, man.
we didn't
Straight up, something
absolutely,
on the
Absolutely.
but then
beach.
We haven't been looking at any
Absolutely.
comments.
No doubt about it.
You got called Morris
Uh,
Chestnut, Cam.
What's that?
Morris
What's
Chestnut. He
that?
does look like Morris Chestnut.
Yeah,
Man,
we haven't looked at
listen.
the comments, and then
Before
MI
I've
called
before
never
you
I
seen
go
Morris
you
to
with
Chestnut.
Vivica Fox.
yo, hey, listen. Before I go to silver, I used to get that at least once or twice a week. Seriously, when it was black and I didn't have the silver, Morris Chestnut, Morris Chestnut, Morris. You know who he looked
Yeah.
like? Yeah, yeah, Morris Chestnut. I know, but I'll take that as a compliment.
Oh,
It's
for
whatever.
sure. I was sitting here thinking about it too, but I didn't. I'm not. I don't know too much uh, about that, so I didn't make the connection to Morris Chestnut. But we haven't been looking at any of the comments as
I
we were
haven't.
just
I just been
talking.
paying attention to what
Yeah,
he's been
I wasn't even paying attention.
Oh,
saying.
you got comments coming in? I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah, we do. We
I didn't
usually
even look
pay
at them.
attention to what the comments say and
Yeah,
stuff, but I've just been focused on what you got to say. Yeah, man, this platform is dope, man, and
yeah. Nah, this is
we
dope,
do
bro.
appreciate you being able
Yeah.
to you know, would you say, Daniel?
We didn't get into the tinfoil, bro. We didn't get into our tinfoil hats.
All right, yeah, well, let's do that, man. I mean, let's talk about some of the things that's going on in the media and tinfoil hats. I know you wanted to touch base on what's going on with these planes, man.
With
What's
them
up with
plane
that, man?
crashes,
What's
bro.
happening with these planes? Because we wanted to go international, man. I mean, we can go by boat, but that takes a long time. I'd rather just take an hour to go to Jamaica or something like that. But these planes falling out the sky is making it's putting a vibe of terror out there, man. What's your thoughts on that? On these
Oh
planes
man.
falling out the sky?
To be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't
Yeah.
been keeping up on what's going on with that. I because the minute every time you pull up social media, you hear a different
Yeah.
side of it. Conspiracy.
Yeah.
You hear. I mean, it's just so much going on about it. It's how you don't know what to believe. And the news media. I'm not a big follower of news media because they'll tell
Yeah.
you what you
Okay.
want to hear. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
so it's just one of those things. But I do think things happen for a reason, and I think things happen purposely, but you won't ever know it.
Yeah.
So I'll
You
just
don't
leave it
believe
at
in
that.
coincidences.
I
Nah.
You
don't
don't
believe
believe
in
in
coincidence
coincidences, right? That's how I
because
am.
I
And
know
I'm one of the
I you know what a Black Hawk can do. All right, I
exactly.
know what a Black Hawk can do.
Yeah.
So
I used to jump out of
that
Black Hawks, man.
so that incident with a Black Hawk involving a Black Hawk, it's just too hard to wrap my head around it. So, that's all I got on that.
Yeah.
See this is what they were saying, right? Because I watched Trump's address. So to the nation when that happened. Oh, what you were saying about media, Cam, like the legacy media is dying out. More people are going to social media, indie outlets like this podcast and things of that nature to
Absolutely.
find their news because traditional media is like losing. It's losing its. Oh yeah, Emma said
Credibility.
DEI. Yeah, I was gonna bring
Yeah.
that
It's
up
losing
too,
its sauce.
but it's losing. Yeah, it's losing a lot of their credibility, and people just aren't trusting it anymore. So Trump has opened up the White House. I did a post about it. He opened up the White House to new forms of media, podcasts, social content creators, influencers. Like they're going to be allowed to go into the press room and ask those questions, and I think that's pretty dope. Um,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that he brought up, so Trump is addressing, and he was talking about the Black Hawk. So apparently, I didn't know because I didn't see the video until later, but the Black Hawk was in the wrong spot. The plane was
Yeah.
where it was supposed to be. The Black Hawk
Hmm.
wasn't. It wasn't supposed
Right.
to be flying that way. And so the air traffic controller calls the plane and is like, yo, you don't see it? Like told the plane, like, you don't see the Black Hawk right there? And I guess the plane didn't see it. But you gotta think it's a
Look.
Black Hawk, it's at
Mm,
night. It
yeah.
probably didn't even see that. Um, and so Trump said that people in air traffic control, apparently all the hires that they did, and he brought up DEI. So he politicized the crash.
I
and
think he
brought it to you
diverted
guys.
the whole point to the DEI, like he should
Yeah.
because he's a president, But we all like I know what Black Hawks can do, man. Pilots can
Mm-hmm.
see it, night vision, everything. They can move, out the way. That junk can stop at a dime if it needs to, right? It
Yeah,
can pull
Mm-hmm.
back. It can go up, down, left, right, upside down if it needs to. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it didn't make any type of adjustment to what's going
none,
on. And
bro.
I put my conspiracy theorist hat. Okay, I'm the number one conspiracy theorist, out there. All right.
Yeah.
It's in the media. You're not going to hear the true stories in the
No,
media all the time. But
absolutely.
you could, if you just open up your eyes, all these things are creating a wave and effect of terror. All right. And so I don't know the story behind it because I'm not orchestrating it or involved in it. But it's a wave of terror that's going on right now, and it's gonna affect the economy one way or another. And I don't think it's gonna be in a good way. And that
In a
might be a
positive way.
purpose of what's going on is to affect an economy. I'm always on the notion that we're at a war going on, not the same type of
Mm-hmm.
conventional war, right? That
Right.
I had to fight, but a war that's much more subtle, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and not as obvious. That's not going to create the maximum effect of damage and carnage that a person might see, but a war that's going to affect the country economically. I mean, even one of my main focuses is on the family, and we're on the war going on with the family because
Yeah.
that's one of the best ways to destroy a country right there is to destroy the family and make it weak.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what's going on right there, man. But Trump's doing what he's supposed to be doing as far as redirecting it and not, you know, being as transparent. Now, if you listen to him, he'll say things just
He
like he
will.
said, like, man, I own helicopters. I know what helicopters
I
can
know
do.
what
That's what he
helicopter
said,
could do.
right?
Yeah. He
Right.
said the
That's
Mm-hmm.
what
Black
Yeah.
Hawk.
he
He
so
said he said the Black Hawk could have went up, down, left, right. He said it
yeah,
could have
that's
made
what
a
I'm
bunch of
saying.
moves. Yeah, because he said I own helicopters. Yeah. And so I
Yeah.
found out, I didn't know this, and I was at Lockheed at the time. Lockheed Martin created this system that they can fly, remotely Black Hawks. So they
Yes,
did a
sir.
test flight where they were at the base and they flew like I want to say like 400 miles or I forgot the distance that they flew this Black Hawk, and they flew it remotely like that. So a lot of people were saying that it was even
Mm-hmm.
unmanned. So I don't know. They said there was like 60 bodies. I think that they said they had to
Yeah.
that they found or whatever like that. I don't know how many belong to who or what, but
Hmm.
if you're trying to
So
do
what
something,
what
bro, that's wild.
what would be the purpose of bringing that plane? Who was on that plane? If that was the case, who's on that plane that they would want,
Who was on that plane that they
deceased?
would want to
I mean,
take?
They mentioned a lot of
if I'm
they
correct, if
mentioned
I'm
a lot
correct,
of
there was
Russians.
a lot of
Was on the
gymnasts. Yeah,
plane?
a lot of gymnasts in
Yeah.
there from different countries. So
Hmm.
somebody's kid, maybe. Who knows?
Who see who
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't see the plane, the manifest or who was on there, or I guess not the manifest, but the passenger list, whatever. I didn't go into that. And then the other
If I'm
plane
correct,
that went down in Philly.
Yeah.
uh,
It was a plane that went
yeah,
down in Philly, that killed, but it was a medical plane that one didn't
yeah.
pass. That one
And I
didn't
think
pass.
they were taking aid to Mexico, if I'm correct.
I don't know
But
where
Yeah.
they were taking A to. I think a kid was hurt
yeah,
in that plane, or whatever. But that I
mm,
didn't look at. I didn't look at. So no Americans died in that plane crash.
No,
The
the
Black
I
people
Hawk.
who were
think.
on the floor did. The people who
Oh
were on the
right.
floor.
Oh,
That plane became a missile.
So it landed
That
in it. Was it a neighborhood that it hit? It hit a neighborhood,
yeah, like
right?
in
yeah,
yes, in a
yeah. It was
public
a neighborhood.
location.
Jeez. Yeah,
So
that's
yeah, that's
freaky.
Mm,
what's going on right now, man. It's a wave of terror that's going out there. And yeah, Kay, you mentioned the right thing. They probably was a high profile person, or a kid, or something like
I didn't
that
even think
to
about
send a
that.
message, out,
Oh
right?
my
Just
gosh.
and so when you put all these pieces of puzzles can be hacked remotely, right? Didn't have a pilot.
uh-huh.
My thought process, right, when I heard about that, right? Here's where it's at because it falls kind of in line with what Daniel said was you seen how they mentioned the pilots of the plane, right? And they were like
Mhm.
showing the pilots and everything. They didn't mention any
Yeah.
pilots of the Black Hawk.
The Black Hawk. You right.
No, they didn't.
You right.
They
They
did
didn't
not.
mention no
You're
pilots of the
absolutely
Black Hawk.
correct.
So
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro.
and you know the military community would be all up in creating memorials and yeah, Sergeant First Class Peterson was in Iraq and served
Yeah,
7
and you
tours
and
and
you didn't hear
da da
anything.
da.
You didn't
Yeah,
hear anything about the Black Hawk pilot.
Nothing.
Dude, I'm about to do a
Nobody
quick
in there
Google search about
on the
that,
Black
bro.
Hawk.
See,
So
dog, I
hey,
gotta see
it makes you
this.
want to. It makes you want to search deep. Definitely.
it does, but we can't be caught up in that either. It's just I like I said, I've been involved with the media myself, being part of the special operations, and was being told how to conduct and say what we needed to in the media, and then hearing it on TV and stuff like that, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, that's not even how it went down, right? So
Okay,
at an
Right.
early age, I was very knowledgeable of how the media twists the narrative, and they have an agenda that they want to push out, and
so they're
so
saying
Absolutely.
it was
yeah,
three pilots died, three passengers died in the Black Hawk.
right. But
It was a
who?
captain. So in order to fly in the Air Force, you have to be a captain, right? I think that's what it is. Is that? Am I right?
But that's not a Air Force. Blackhawks are usually Army. But I'm not saying you can't be an Air Force, but
Right.
yeah, you don't have to be like a Air Force.
You don't have to be, but
To
you got to be
fly
a certain
Blackhawk.
rank to fly, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
to
you
pilot, right?
do. Yeah, I'm not.
That's
Man, this was
crazy,
like
bro.
another lifetime. Don't make me go back into the archives to
Don't
try to
make you
figure that
don't
out.
make
But
you relive it. Now
Man,
I've
yeah,
been on a
you're
man.
not
Black
that
Hawk.
old, bro.
I've been on a Black Hawk
Yeah,
one time when I was in Afghanistan. I took a Black Hawk from
mm,
I went from Bagram to Airborne because they don't have a airport there like that, landing strip. So we had to take a Black Hawk. That was the most terrifying flight I've ever taken. Took it multiple times because they just
oh
fly
man.
that thing wherever, bro. Like he'll
Yeah,
be low like
exactly,
this, and they
exactly.
didn't want to keep us too low because the RPGs coming off of the roofs. So they're like, when we went over certain areas, he'd go up here, go up high, and then he'll move. I'm like, yo, this dude. And then we had to land. It's not no soft landing. He's just boom, just dropping that thing. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
Then after
imagine
I
being
did
on
that,
one
like,
where RPGs are flying, shooting at
oh,
you, and
see, I
bullets are
wouldn't want
flying
to do
too,
that.
man. But
I wouldn't
that's
do
that
that.
was in another life though. And Kay, we don't want to drag you into the conspiracy theorists. What I do got to say is, Daniel, we didn't do the keep it or return to sender.
Keep it or
So
return to sender.
we got to do that another time
See,
because I
I've
don't
been
want to keep
slacking
Kay
on
on
my
here for
keep
too
it or
long.
return to sender,
Cam on
bro.
here too long, man. I'm happy that you came on with us and
Hey,
spent some time.
listen,
I know
man.
you're a busy
Hey,
man.
I'm having fun. This is
No,
I
man. Hey,
appreciate
come
you
back
bringing me
on.
on.
Yeah,
Come
you
back
got
on
to.
Absolutely.
at another
You
time. We're
got to.
gonna have a
This
multiple
should,
platform episode where we have multiple people, and we like for you to
A
get on
panel.
and
Yeah.
engage in the conversation. We might be talking about who knows relationships and how to unite men and women, or how we could unite each other as entrepreneurs to come up with projects. So that's gonna be something that's gonna be down in the line, and we'd love to get your expertise out there
yeah,
and
absolutely.
see.
Whatever I can share with you guys, I mean, I could tell you my adventures of how my traveling. Who knows? We can talk about anything. Talk about
Nah.
Your
anything.
passport looked like it got Christmas lights on it and everything. It's all flashy.
You just don't understand. Listen, it's all about just re energizing myself, and that's what does it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope, bro. I appreciate you for coming on, Cam. It's pretty dope. Thank
All
y'all so
right.
much for tuning into another episode of Beyond the Hustle. I'm
Hey
Danny
Cam,
Tavius
let
Oh,
before he gets off, let people know how they can reach you, bruv, if you don't mind.
No,
Um,
you can reach me at Firm Life Auto Sales, Firm Like a Mattress, Life Auto Sales. You can reach me at All Rich Automotive, and my Facebook page is Camille Choute, Facebook. I think you might have tagged me on
I did.
on the
tagged you
Facebook,
in it.
but
Yep.
I mean, I have plenty of ways you can reach me. So I mean, if anybody, I mean, if you can't reach me, reach one of you guys, and you guys be able to reach me. So
Outstanding.
any which way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure y'all
Again,
Outstanding.
you
Hey,
guys,
like-
thank you very much for the invite. I had a good time. Definitely be back again. Just throw me an invite. You know me.
All right, definitely, man. Thanks for showing up,
yeah.
bro. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
appreciate it.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. Thank y'all for watching. We'll be back next week, Tuesday. It is tax season, so make sure y'all hit up our Rene, man. Taxmoney123.com. Let them know that you saw him on Beyond the Hustle. All right, y'all. What you got
And
to
don't
say?
forget, also, if they want some advertisements of their business, make sure you hit up Daniel Tattermy at Tattermy Productions. Get your ads
yes.
placed up on Beyond the Hustle, man. We ready to place your business out here and showcase it for you. All right, Daniel has all the information you need. Feel free to hit him or I up at any time. We make it easy for you to contact us. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week, Tuesday. Deuces.